Is the AI bubble popping? You might have been watching your stocks today and wondering that.
The threat of a bubble.
An AI bubble burst.
Reality check could be coming for AI valuations.
Another day of tech underperformance on some concerns about AI growth.
If the whole thing blows up, which is a possibility, I don't know if it's going to happen, the pitchforks are going to come out for these guys.
For the last few months, it feels like all anyone can talk about is the AI bubble and mass layoffs. I keep seeing headlines that feel very familiar from 2008, global financial crisis, companies cutting jobs, hiring freezes, and at the same time, this overwhelming sense that we're living in what people keep calling an AI-fast economy. And honestly, it is kind of an AI-fast economy. There's an absurd amount of money pouring into AI right now. Nvidia recently crossed a valuation of around $5 trillion. They make the chips that AI models run on, and they're now worth more than the GDP of every country except the US and China. One company essentially selling one core product being valued more than the entire sectors of the global economy. And it's not just Nvidia. Global spending on AI is projected to hit around $375 billion this year. Some economists have suggested that if you strip out AI-related investments, US economic growth for 2025 would be almost flat. And if that's really true, something about it feels off. You've probably seen diagrams showing how AI companies are connected. On the surface, it looks straightforward. Nvidia makes chips, companies like Oracle buy those chips to build massive data centers, then companies like OpenAI rent those data centers to train and run their models. So far normal, right? But when you look closer, the money starts looping back on itself. Nvidia invests billions into OpenAI. OpenAI pays Oracle. Oracle buys more Nvidia chips. Everyone books huge revenue, stock prices go up, and the next multi-billion-dollar deal gets announced. It's not necessarily illegal or secret, but it does start to feel very circular. Almost like the same dollars are being passed around, only getting bigger every time. And this isn't limited to a few companies. You can swap OpenAI for Anthropic or Google, Nvidia for AMD, Oracle for Amazon, and the structure barely changes. Which naturally leads to a question, is there a bubble? If you ask tech executives, the answer is no.
Dario, you've said that AI could wipe out half of all entry-level white-collar jobs and spike unemployment to 10 to 20%.
The story is always the same. AI isn't profitable yet, but it will be, very soon. They say eventually it'll save companies so much on labor costs that all this investment will seem obvious in hindsight. And that argument would make sense, but only if AI was actually replacing jobs at scale. But when you look at how AI is actually being used inside companies, the story gets a lot messier. The Financial Times recently interviewed executives who praised AI as transformative. Then they talked to workers at the same companies and found that many weren't using AI at all, or were actively avoiding it. In many real-world deployments, generative AI fails far more often than it succeeds. In some cases, it increases workloads instead of reducing them. Studies on programmers, for example, have found that AI can actually slow work down. And that probably won't surprise anyone who's had to clean up AI output. So why are people still being fired? One possibility is that AI has become a convenient explanation, a way to justify layoffs that companies already wanted to make, a way to tell investors that cuts are strategic, not financial. What's less talked about is that many of these companies are quietly rehiring, sometimes for the same roles, sometimes at very low pay, sometimes with fewer protections. We've already seen companies walk back AI-first policies after realizing that tech just isn't ready, not because they had a change of heart, but because the work still had to get done. In practice, what AI often does is make jobs more precarious. And there's a real disconnect here. Managers see AI drafts are decent email and think it's this revolutionary technology. On the other hand, workers see it generate reports filled with error. But managers are the ones deciding who stays and who goes. So where does that leave the AI bubble question? There's no clear consensus yet. Some argue that because the biggest AI investors already have massive profitable companies, any collapse would mostly stay contained within the tech industry. Others are more worried, especially as AI infrastructure gets financed in increasingly complex ways with tradable securities, debt instruments, and financial products tied to data centers and future demand. If AI revenues don't materialize, those risks don't just disappear. They spread into pension funds, mutual funds, potentially the broader financial system. Even mainstream outlets like the Financial Times have started raising the concern. And that's not helped by the fact that many AI companies still lose money every time their products are used. To meet their projections, they'd need trillions in revenue very quickly. That's a big bet and a lot is riding on it. So no, none of this feels inevitable. The way that it's being deployed right now isn't natural or unavoidable. It's shaped by incentives, hype, and power. And if there's one clear takeaway, it's that workers matter more than ever. Organization, regulation, and skepticism are the only counterweights to a system that treats technology as an excuse. But without that pressure, AI doesn't replace us. It makes work worse. Thank you for watching, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.